Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be a no communication reading for those who are dealing with cancers. If you are not in contact with a cancer right now, no texting, no calling, no letter writing, no showing up at people's houses or workplaces, no verbal communication, no sending, creepy, cryptograms in the mail or something like that. This is the reading for you. I know most likely cancers will watch this reading. That's natural. Your name is on it. You're welcome here to watch as well. But essentially, you would be a cross watcher, even though again your zodiac sign is labeled here on the reading. This again is specifically designed or has been tailored for people who are looking for insight as to what's going on with a cancer of interest who is not speaking with them, has blocked them, or they've blocked the cancer. It doesn't really matter who did what, but just like what's going on in this time of silence, okay? I did this reading here on my channel. Oh, by the way, if you're a new viewer, hi, welcome. This is my channel. Feel free to peruse and look at other things that I've done. But for those who may have seen this before, I did this back in I think it was October or September on my channel. Had a pretty good reception to it, so I brought it back now here in February 2020, but it's a little bit different than what I did before. It was a little bit more structured. I like structure. I'm a fixed sign. I like that kind of shit. But I've revamped it a little bit through the guidance that was given to me. So what you're going to see here is the first half is going to be messages from Cancer to you, viewer. You could be a Pisces. You could be an Aries. You could be a Sagittarius. You could be a Scorpio. You could be a Leo. It doesn't matter what your sign is. But the first half is going to be messages from Cancer to you. What would Cancer like to express to you? What would they tell you about the circumstances that they're dealing with right now, or what has transpired between you? Just like give you some insight. Okay, that's the first half. And then naturally, of course, again, if you're a Cancer and you're here, you will see in the latter half, there will be messages coming from the viewer towards Cancer, just to give, fair play to everybody. So it's a double cross-watching type of setup here. Also, what's different, that was the same in the last reading, but what's different is front-loaded are the oracle cards. So we're going to get one oracle message from either side going to the other. And that's going to be front-loaded, and then actually the shuffling of the cards will be done live. There will be clarification. So it's just a little bit looser, even though there is still a structure, because your girl is a fixed sign, because your girl likes structure, okay? So first things first is we need to decide which of these oracle decks is actually going to be Cancer's message to you, viewer, to give a little context of what might be going on between you in this time of no communication. So also remember, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. It really helps the channel grow. It keeps me, in this rotation out here on YouTube. So if you want to support the channel that way, please do so. Also, if you want to get a personal reading with me, that information is also in the description box. That also shows support to the channel by purchasing readings with me or doing a donation through the PayPal channel, through the PayPal link. And then also down there is the timestamp if you want to jump ahead to actually when I start to read either one of these oracle cards, okay? All right, so let's just jump into it. I mean, I rambled on a little bit, but we got there. And let's see, which deck, please, contains the message from Cancer to the viewer? Which oracle deck from Cancer to the viewer? Which deck, please? And I'm still congested. I don't have a cold, but I'm a little bit congested, so I apologize ahead of time, my friends, okay? Cancer to the viewer, which deck? Thank you. It's going to be the Divine Circus by Alana Fairchild. And everything's been meditated and pre-shuffled, but we will, re-engage with the energy here on camera. Cancer to the viewer, what's the message? Show me in the deck, please. Show me in the oracle deck. Message from Cancer to the viewer. What would they like to say in this time of no communication? And I mean it, friends. Absolutely no communication. Maybe you were ghosted. Maybe you ghosted Cancer. Who knows? But, no highs, no buys, no, winky emojis, nothing. Messages from Cancer to the viewer. Last, thank you. Pardon me. I don't like being congested. Message from Cancer to the viewer. Thank you. There it is. I was going to say, Cancer doesn't have much to say. Oh, remember this guy. We'll intuit it a little bit, and then we'll actually read from the book. Duke of Shadows. Duke of Shadows. Card number 14. That number might be significant to you guys, but the feeling I get is, this guy's all dressed up, very feathery, very, bird-like, right? And then he's like, there's like some like gothic looking balloons in the background. So I feel as though Cancer would tell you, viewer, is like, during this time of no communication, possible separation or ghosting or whatever it is, I think that Cancer's trying to make the best out of a bad situation. It feels like, okay. Cancer might be putting on a brave face, trying to seem as though they're not upset, trying to seem as though they're not confused or they're somehow upset or despondent or angry or sad or something like that. He's not wearing a mask, this guy. He's not wearing a mask, but I do get the sense of like being festive and trying to be happy even though you're not happy, or trying to make, like I said, the best out of a bad situation. It feels as though Cancer, if you are looking at like their social media, they're like posting more things to their Instagram. They're putting up more motivational, inspirational quotes and memes and shit like that. It's just like, smiling through the pain is kind of what this feels like a little bit. In some cases, they might be going out and partying more, Card 14. They might be going out and just like, a lot of people do that. Like, if something has upset them, instead of wallowing, they go out and they get busy, you know what I mean? And they stay active. So there might be an element of that as well. Let's see what the book says. I could be totally wrong. That was all intuition based off of what it felt like. So, Duke of Shadows. Cunningly clever am I, helping you discern the truth from a lie. I remind you that half-truths may seem to be whole, yet the shadows in information is yet to be known. When the time is right, the light shall be bright, and confusion will give way to understanding. The Duke of Shadows brings you an invitation to patience. It is a cautionary card, not to inspire concern, but rather to inspire curiosity. There is more to a situation, person, opportunity, or even an apparent absence of activity or success than meets the eye. You could imagine it being like the universe has another card up its sleeve and is yet to show its full hand. This card indicates that a process has yet to be set in motion, but it's under the radar of your awareness. Something is happening, even if that doesn't appear to be the case. But just like a seed starts to grow into a plant deep in the earth, apparently invisible and yet very real, you are being subjected to invisible but real forces of growth and healing at this time. His appearance signifies that the bigger picture of what is happening right now is not fully available to you. It will be in time, but for now, Duke of Shadows reminds you that what you are seeing is not the whole story and is not the final verdict. Okay. So there's more to that, what's in the book. This particular deck has a lot of information in the book. I'm not going to read it all, but that kind of feels like what I was intuiting. It's like showing up and doing things, but it's like not all as it seems to be, right? It's just what you perceive, viewer, of what's going on with Cancer is probably not the full truth. And, that kind of makes sense when you're not communicating with a person, So let's see through the tarot what Cancer has to say to the viewer, please. Messages from Cancer to the viewer during this time of no communication. What would Cancer say regarding what's going on between them and the viewer? Let's see some messages and context for the viewer, please. Messages from Cancer to the viewer. If they were given the chance to speak, if the lines of communication were to open up, what would Cancer say? Thank you. That's good. I am going to pause, but not right now because I can feel this congestion. It's ridiculous. Messages from Cancer to... Whoa, okay, one. Ooh, it's side. Hold on. Which way? Move it? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. We'll flip it now. Ah, King of Cups in reverse. Okay. More, please. More messages from Cancer to the viewer. Okay, there we go. I usually like to have 2 or 3. What came out after was the Eon card, Judgment, and Three of Wands. So, viewer, King of Cups, reverse, Eon or Judgment, and Three of Wands. I'll be right back. It's the congestion thing. It has nothing to do with the reading. One moment. Alright, movie magic, and I am back. Alright, guys, so King of Cups in reverse, Eon, Judgment, and Three of Wands. Are these separate? I think they're separate. Yeah, okay. King of Cups in reverse, water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So this is definitely them. Not in their best state of mind. Possibly, you know, shutting down emotionally, it feels like. Feels like, emotionally speaking, they're not living truthfully or naturally. They're really, you know, kind of attached to the artwork of the Duke of Shadows. They're kind of in a dark space right now. They're kind of in a dark spot in their life right now. Whether that is purely to do with what's going on between you and them, viewer, I don't know. We might clarify this, but emotionally speaking, they're just not where they would like to be or where they would normally be. With the King of Cups in reverse, we're talking about someone who does understand their emotions, or someone who has, you know, awareness that things aren't right, but they're suppressing it. They're avoiding it. They're skating over the issue and not really being authentic or honest or truthful with themselves. There's a lot of, like, I feel push, like down into the depths. Yeah. Could also mean that they're drowning in their emotions. They're very overwhelmed at this time. And when you're overwhelmed with emotions, even if you understand, oh, maybe I'm depressed, or I'm going through, you know, a period where I'm just inconsolable and I'm crying every day, you know, and whatever it is, you might be able to acknowledge that, but would you express it, or would you be able to, you know, get to the root of why? That seems to be the case. So Cancer, sort of on the nose with what water signs can be like, is definitely in a spot where they might know that they're having an emotional upheaval and they're going through something incredibly tumultuous, right? But are they expressing it, or are they facing it, or are they doing anything proactive to deal with it? Maybe not. So we might clarify that King of Cups a little bit. So then after that, we get the Eon card or the Judgment card, secondary major arcana for Scorpio. You could be a Scorpio, you don't have to be, or there could be a Scorpio of significance, but again, it's a general, it doesn't have to be that. Judgment. Things have been laid to rest. Whether that be an actual person has passed away, and recently there's been a funeral, and potentially in like one or two of the cases, it could be, you know, if Cancer has lost someone of significance in their life, a lot of people have trouble or are not necessarily the quote unquote the best dealing with loved ones who pass away. So it could be in the Cancer's life, maybe they've lost someone and they're having trouble with their grief. They're having trouble coping now that that person is gone. Could be, like in a few cases, but more to the point, or more esoterically speaking, the Judgment talks about just putting things to rest in terms of letting them go, passing final judgment, so making judgment calls, right? So this situation, maybe between you and them, wasn't good for them. Maybe you decided to end things, or maybe Cancer decided to end things. And there is a sort of finality about it. However, as the card kind of depicts, and kind of, if you have any type of let's say biblical understanding, which I'm not religious, by the way, so don't take that as like a read or anything like that. It's not. But there is this idea of resurrection. So, you know, the Judgment card, especially in this moment right now, I feel it's very tricky. I think that could, you know, really add to the King of Cups being in reverse. You know, Cancer could be in this nostalgic point where something that is gone, or a person that is gone, the situation between you, the relationship, the connection between you is gone, and they want it back. Or, you know, 2 seconds later, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad this person is gone, or I'm glad this person is at rest, or whatever it is. But then it's like, you know, then 5 minutes later, but I do miss them and I miss these good times. So there's this back and forth. You know, if I'm honest, it's like, it feels like a tightrope act, or it feels like a balancing act. It feels as though Cancer is off. Thank you. That's the word. Oscillating. They're ping-ponging back and forth. I want this. I don't want this. I miss this. I don't miss this. I want to speak to them. I don't want to speak to them. This could be about communication between you and them. I want to reach out. I want to reconnect. No, I don't. I don't miss them. They don't deserve me. Something like that. So this Cancer is, no offense, Cancer, if you're here watching this first half, I assume you would be, but it feels like this Cancer is really out of their mind. Not crazy, like, you know, manic, but they're out of their mind, meaning they know they're in a turmoil, they know they're going through something that is not settled, but they don't know what they want, or they don't know what is the correct way to move forward. We'll say it that way. They don't really know the correct way to move forward. These two together, King of Cups in reverse and the Judgment card, it feels problematic for Cancer. However, thank you. However, this is very core to them. What does that mean? This is very core to them. It's in their center, and I'm doing this squeezing motion, so that means like their heart space, their chakra, their heart chakra, right? So in their heart, maybe even in the solar plexus, if you guys follow chakra work or anything like that, but in the core of them, in the mid of their torso and their stomach, that's where they would feel this. In terms of daily life, like I was sort of saying with the Duke of Shadows, I think they get along. I think they're out. They're being productive in those ways, and they're possibly going out and celebrating things, or, you know, being social. But internally, there's like this ruckus going on. There's like this churning, constant churning on the inside. This is very under wraps, which is kind of what the Duke of Shadows was saying as an oracle, right? Even though it might not look like it, there's a lot of stuff going on deep under the surface, right? There was something in there about like a seed growing in the dark, right? So that's what's going on here. Now, what else would they tell you, viewer? They would tell you Three of Wands, which is kind of what I was just saying. On the surface, they're getting things. Oh, and he's juggling. Look, he's juggling these fire sticks. So that element is definitely there. Cancer is having to juggle things or get, you know, I don't get the sense that this person, even though emotionally they're going through it, I don't think on the surface anyone would be able to tell. So if you are taking a sneaky peek at their social media, if you are asking about them through common friends or common connections, hey, what's going on with Cancer? Someone would tell you, Cancer's fine. I don't see anything wrong. You know, oh, I just saw them the other day. We grabbed lunch together. Yeah, he or she said they were fine. You know, this is very secretive. Again, water sign qualities, secrets. So there is this element of Cancer would tell you what's going on the surface is not what, oh, I'm not done, thank you. They're like, you're not done with that. They would tell you on the surface, I'm doing okay. I'm about my business, right? Three of Wands is this interest in the future, best laid plans, or beginning to take action off of decisions that we've made. So that, again, kind of plays to what I was saying earlier. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I reach out? Should I, you know, accept that we're not speaking anymore? Should I move on from this? How do I move on from, like, questioning how to actually move forward in the physical, right? So that is there with this Three of Wands. But more to the point is, I think that Cancer would not want you to either worry about them or know about what we talked about with the King of Cups and the Judgment card. They don't want you to know that. So they, again, would put on this, essentially, a front, and they would tell you, listen, I'm making plans for my life. I'm moving forward, in some cases, creatively. I've got a new job. I've got new projects on my plate. I'm traveling in some cases. Sometimes the Three of Wands indicates, you know, a trip or a voyage. Who is in my brain? A trip. So some might be, you know, planning spring break is coming up for some college students. So they're just going to tell you, I'm living my life. I'm regular. I'm fine. I'm everything is great, or everything is just, you know, status quo. They would not tell you this is what's happening. That's the core of them. That's where most of their focus is. Secrets, which is fine, you know, people are allowed to have secrets, but, you know, I think that's actually pretty good. Do I want to actually clarify the King of Cups? Pardon me. No. They're like, no, Cancer is not wanting to talk about that. Or it's very, okay, that could be what's going on here. Yeah, come on, what is that? It's this, Cancer has to deal with this by themselves. If you have compassion for this Cancer, if you care about them, if you say you're a friend or an ex or whatever your relationship is, it doesn't really matter. And if you want to help Cancer, they don't want your help. If they do, it might actually be counterproductive. There might be something in terms of growth. I think growth was mentioned in the Oracle card. There might be something in terms of growth that this Cancer has to do this by themselves. That's what this feels like. Thank you. All right, so let's see more messages from Cancer to the viewer, please. More messages from Cancer to the viewer. What else would they like to say? If the lines of communication were to be opened, what would Cancer share with the viewer? Oh, of course, to the floor. Yeah. Prince of Swords in reverse. What else? Yeah? No. Thank you. The Devil. Anything? Okay, and the Wheel of Fortune. Not that one, but the Ace of Wands. We'll take that. Okay. Okay. Prince of Swords in reverse. Air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You could be an air sign. You don't have to be. Devil energy. Devil card, devil energy. Devil card. Major arcana for Capricorn. And then together we'll take the Wheel of Fortune and the Ace of Wands. Wheel of Fortune, secondary major for Sagittarius. Also associated with the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. All of those signs could matter. None of them could matter. It's a general. Please don't get too attached. So, okay. So, I think some of you already know this, not through communication with the Cancer, but you could just tell. They're kind of acting erratically, or they're acting out of character. Some of them might be indulging in bad behaviors with the Devil energy that talks about indulgences, that talks about addictions, or, just giving into lust or giving into temptation, right? So, and the Prince of Swords in reverse is someone who doesn't act rationally, someone who doesn't speak rationally. This Cancer right now, dear viewer, again, it's like this pretense. There's something about a facade or something about a false mask, and you from the distance might be already, oh god, can't even talk. Mercury is still in retrograde. From a distance you can tell they're not acting normally. They're not being who you know them to be. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. The Prince, dropping shit. The Prince of Swords in reverse is not a kind-hearted person. Prince of Swords in reverse is not somebody who's compassionate, is not somebody who shows their emotions or acts from a place of emotional give a care, basically. Very selfish, very impulsive, very much out of control is how they're making me feel. Now, out of control is very, subjective. In my circle, out of control means something completely different than, say, in yours, So take it with a grain of salt. And I'm not saying that this person, has bought like a Harley and they've, joined a motorcycle club and they're being, no offense to motorcycle clubs or anything like that. I'm not saying that this person has turned into like a vigilante or like, a rebel without a cause type of shit, but they're doing things abnormally, things that you're not used to. Again, I'm being led with this feeling of not acting compassionately, not essentially being a caring person, which not all Cancers are. That's not, a rule. In order to be a Cancer, you have to be nice and full of sunshine and sweet, delicious treats. No, Cancers can be assholes because they're human beings, right? But but it feels more so that you can see, or you get the sense, like you can tell. And this is interesting because, the ask is, what would Cancer tell you? Cancer might tell you, I'm being an asshole. I know oh, they might own it. There you go. They might own it. I know I'm being an asshole. Ah, okay, there you go. Thank you. Either you can tell, because some of you are like really looking after this Cancer. Like you're really, like I do get the sense like some of you are actively looking at their social media, actively asking about them, actively, in some cases, watching them, in whatever form you're watching them. I feel that some of you are actively watching this Cancer. And you can tell from afar, they're not being who they normally are. Now, for those who you're not watching, which is a good amount of you are not watching, a good amount of you are not, keeping up on what they're doing, right? Cancer would tell you, I'm being an asshole. I know I'm being an asshole. There's something going on within me related to this stuff back here that makes me feel I'm okay to do this. Or, I really get the sense, again, like out of control with the Prince of Swords. Prince of Swords, also Knight of Swords is also what it's called. Someone who acts impulsively and they're out of control. Whatever's going on back here emotionally, this emotional upheaval, this potential loss that they've gone through, or the ending of something, or, not knowing whether to continue in one route or to switch over and go the other way. All of that has turned into poor choices, let's say, or less than ideal choices on Cancer's part. The actions that they're taking in terms of swords, the way that they're speaking to people, and not you, because you're not in communication. Again, you don't talk to this Cancer. You might look at them, you might watch them, but you're not talking to them. So the communications that they're giving out to other people is very harsh. It's very, in some cases, incredibly rude. And they know this. And they know this. They know this. We might clarify that, because that's, yeah. And then Wheel of Fortune and Ace of Wands together. Excuse me. There's a struggle. Like, kind of on the nose. I feel as though the Cancer is having a struggle with time management, maybe. Maybe they're stressed about something. Maybe there's a deadline coming up. Yeah, there's something here, particularly to a few of them, that deals with the time of a situation or deadlines coming up. Maybe again, like about this school thing with college. Maybe some of them, some semesters are ending, or projects are coming up that need to be turned in, assignments need to be turned in, and there's like this element of feeling like pushed up, race against the clock. This Ace of Wands, they might have to take sudden action. They might have to get a little creative in terms of deadlines. They might have to get creative in terms of finishing projects and assignments, to meet these deadlines. And this puts pressure on them. Like this is a pressure cooker. Like this feels very stressful and tense. Yeah. More to the point of what the tarot traditionally means, Wheel of Fortune indicates endings. Again, finalizing things, moving from one chapter to the next, one phase of your life to the next. And it's not necessarily aligned with that Three of Wands. It's just how I laid it on the board here. But, I think that that's very much in their mind. What's next for me? What is the next platform? Thank you. Interesting. What is the next platform? Oh, hold on. What is the next platform that I'm going to step onto? Platform, the association that they're giving me with this word is they're showing me apps, like phone apps, computer apps, whatever. So some of you, this Cancer works in technology, and so, or they work at a job that deals with a lot of applications or social media or something like that, something in the tech world. And so, maybe some of them have been like fired, or they know they're going to be fired, or something like that. So there's this idea of I need a new platform, I need a new place. Some of them, I mean, this is not necessarily about moving, but I did tell you earlier the Three of Wands can indicate some type of movement. So some of them might need a new place to live. And there's pressure, no matter what the scenario is. I feel as though there's pressure on Cancer to move on, to get going, to progress. And a lot of them might be circling the drain. A lot of them might be stuck in old habits. That's the other thing. Beyond temptation or bad behavior or anything like that, there is this element with the devil about habits, bad habits, addictions, right? Or bad judgment. I think I said that, poor judgment, right? And they know a lot of them would tell you, I know I'm like sabotaging myself, or I know I'm not doing myself any favors here. So the Ace of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune. I think this is missing for them in some cases. Or, they're nervous of what this will look like. Or how can I do this? How will I be able to do this? There is this potential for the Ace of Wands to be a creative spark, to be an aha moment, to be an epiphany moment, to be, a sudden inspiration in your life, or an idea that wakes you up and again, allows you to progress. But I'm not sure that Cancer can connect with that right now. So they might desire it. It might be an opportunity that comes along in time, but it's not here now. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. That Ace of Wands might come to them, but it's not coming right now. Interesting. Anything else from Cancer to the viewer? Did I want to clarify? No, because I feel that actually got cleared up. So anything else from Cancer to the viewer? What else would Cancer like to say to the viewer before we move on to the second half? Three of Swords. Jeez. Poor Cancer. No offense, by the way, cross-watcher. Or not cross-watcher. No offense, viewer. But this Cancer feels really like in a mess. In a mess. Strife. Five of Wands. Three of Swords, Five of Wands. Alright, that's very on the nose. And if you've been with my channel for a while, you kind of already know. I don't normally say this, but in some of your cases, this was about third-party situation, why you guys aren't communicating. It doesn't have to be romantic, but you do have that heart-shaped cloud up there. And if you know your situation was romantic, there we go. Thank you, camera. If you know your situation was romantic, and there were I don't think this is news, so Cancer would acknowledge third-party situation, whether it be romantic or not. Now, the base of what I say when I talk about third party is it just means intrusion. It just means interception or an outside influence on a dynamic shared between two people. So regarding you and them, viewer, Cancer would acknowledge the third-party situation, romantic or otherwise. And whether they are the quote-unquote guilty party or whether you are, it really doesn't matter. But there is just this acknowledgement of something in our connection was an interference, or I was an interference in a dynamic, whatever it is. And that interference has really upset Cancer. And they fight themselves. Thank you. They fight themselves on whether or not to actually, okay, thank you. Okay, here we go. Let's rewind the tape and edit. Because in some cases, the third party was never actually acknowledged fully. There may have been suspicions, there may have been indications, or even, it feels as though maybe you or them were about to talk about it, but then the door closed and this whole thing shut down. This whole no talking started just as talking about the third party was going to happen. Yeah. And so that may have, again, I'm getting this, if I'm honest, friends, if you haven't been able to tell, this reading for me has been a little bit confusing because I feel one way for a millisecond and then I'm on this other side. And I, as the interpreter of the message, am just it's like this, but then it's also like this. And there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of gray area. Let's say that there's a lot of gray area here. And so it's kind of hard to make sense of it, like sharply or clearly. Thank you. So in some of your cases, you knew or they knew or whatever. Everybody knew about the third party in some cases. In other cases, only one person knew or two of the three knew, whatever it is. But if the lines of communication were to open, or if you had a chance to talk to them now, there would be an acknowledgement of this. Whether we've already, talked about it, or whether we knew but it never was verbalized, or whether we were completely in the dark and this would be a shocking revelation, Cancer would lay this out on the table. This is what was going on, or this is what I suspected was going on. Please confirm it for me, whatever it is. Now, and again, romantic or not, okay? That fires the Cancer up. It's going to make them, or it would make them, it does make them, thank you, it does make them Five of Wands. It does make them not feel so great, whether they're the perpetrator or not, whether you were the person with the third party viewer or not. It really doesn't matter. Cancer is incredibly disappointed over that intrusion. They're very riled up and frustrated and angry over it. Let me tell you, it doesn't feel that Cancer is in the best spot to talk. And I think this is just for a few of you who might be thinking, oh, would it be good for me and Cancer to communicate right now? I don't think so. Because this is someone who is grappling with a lot of stuff. And going back to, again, what was said in the Oracle card, there's some need for growth here. Something needs to transpire on their end, it feels like, before any of this can actually make sense, both to them and to you, if you guys were to speak again. If you're not going to speak again, maybe it's for the best. Maybe for both of you, it's better that you go your separate ways or continue to go your separate ways. I don't know. But this is a lot of hodgepodge or a lot of mixed up energy. It's bubbling. It's festering maybe in some of the cases. It's really intense, but quietly intense is how they're making me feel about it, because most Cancers that I've ever met, they're not super loud people. They're not usually very boisterous. They're usually very calm and collected, but still waters run deep, right? So that's what this feels like. All right, so we're going to clear this. Maybe I'll remember some of these cards if they come up again. I don't know. My short-term memory ain't what it used to be. And we're just going to clear this out real quick. Clear this deck, please. And then we're going to move into what you, viewer, would say to Cancer. Because, sometimes you don't know what you would say to a person. Or, more to the point, for the Cancers that are watching, this part is kind of for you. So let's clear this deck, and then we'll move on to the Oracle card. Good, thank you. All right. Messages from the viewer to Cancer. What would they say if the lines of communication were to open up? Messages from the viewer to Cancer. What would they like to say? And this is the Goddess Guidance deck by Doreen Virtue. Messages from the viewer to Cancer. Thank you. In case you're wondering, the person I'm thanking or the people I'm thanking are my guides. I say thank you a lot, so that's who I'm talking to. Whoa. Okay. Ah. Yeah? Yes, thank you. It stopped me here because of it was running up against my finger, and then this guy dangled out. Okay, we'll take it. Is that right? Yeah. They're like, yep. Lakshmi. Or Lakshmi? Bright future. Stop worrying. Everything is going to be fine. So, viewer, you have some compassion towards Cancer in some type of way. You wish them well. You don't want to see them suffer. You don't want to see them going through this emotional upheaval, so that's good. I think you'd wish them a lot of peace and harmony in their life, a lot of balance. You've got the two elephants behind Lakshmi there. So I think you recognize how imbalanced Cancer is, or upon seeing it, you would immediately want them to be centered, to be at peace, to not be so caught up. I don't think you have anything, at least for now, negative to wish upon them. And I mean, that kind of goes because this deck, the way I did my oracles is I put them into 3 different categories. I went into darker, neutral, and light. And this is from the light pile that I have, the light oracle decks that I have. And I choose these things randomly, you know what I mean? And so there isn't a likelihood that you, viewer, would have any ill will towards Cancer, yeah? Anything else? Maybe you'd want to travel with them. I do get this sense with the sea behind her, the sun, like maybe go to like a beach vacation or something like that, you know, to lift their mood, to lift their spirit. You have a lot of, I mean, it's not going to go for every one of you. You know, some of you might be like, I can't stand Cancer. I wish them nothing but the worst things in life, but I don't generally like that kind of stuff because it's bad juju, it's bad karma, so just don't do it. But you're an adult, you do what you like. So let's see what the book says. And that's just to cover the bases, because not everybody in this world, you know, has that outlook. Because I don't know what's transpired between you and Cancer. If Cancer cheated on you, or if Cancer treated you badly, you know, it takes a lot to wish someone well after they've treated you badly. Just to be the devil's advocate here. Now, Lakshmi, what it says in the book. Message from Lakshmi. This is a kind universe, and everything within it is working, and everything within it is working in your favor. There are no tests, blocks, or obstacles in your way, except your own projections of fear into your future. Take a moment and hush your mind, quieting it from worries and fears. Feel me brush your brow with a new energy of faith, hope, and optimism. These energies fuel your exciting present time, as well as all future moments. Why would you wish darkness upon yourself when light shines all around you? Step into the brightness by lightening your thoughts and feelings. You must stop worrying, as this anxiety squelches the goddess that seeks to find, the goodness that seeks to find you. Clear your heart of fear and replace those energies with ones that will serve you and your family instead. Refuse to think of anything except your bright today and tomorrow, and I promise you that it shall be so. Various meanings of this card. You and your loved ones will be protected and provided for. Let go of any bag lady fears about your future. Hold positive thoughts and intentions. Know that you'll always have your needs met, and know now and in the future. Don't worry about money, but instead visualize abundance. I mean, listen, if you don't want Cancer to have good things, number one, that will reflect back to you. Life is a mirror, right? Everything is cyclical, okay? So if you put that back, if you send that to Cancer, it will come back to you, so don't do it. But you're an adult, you do what you like. The other part of this that I want to note, just like the difference in these oracle cards. One's light, one's very dark. That might be a dichotomy between you, or a difference between you. One of you, you know, you might have ethnic differences, okay? And that's just, you know, that doesn't mean anything inherently. I'm just saying there might be a difference in how you dress. Let's say it that way. If not your ethnicity, you might dress very brightfully, and, you know, Cancer is like, you know, goth and emo to the end of their days. Something like that. But yeah, I think that you see what they're going through or how their mood is, and you're just like, dude, or dudette, don't do that. Be positive. Be, you know, let go of your worries. Let go of the things that are troubling you and think positively. Interesting. All right, so let's get some let's get some tarot messages from the viewer to Cancer. From the viewer to Cancer, what would the viewer say to Cancer if the lines of communication were to open up? Good, thank you. Eight of Swords. And 2 and 1. But maybe they won't be 2 and 1. Let's find out. All right, he comes back, but he's in the upright. So 8 of Swords. and then the Prince of Swords and the Princess of Cups. So viewer, I would think you would tell Cancer you worry about them. Eight of Swords, right? You care, you worry about them. Some of you, this disconnect has really upset you, and it feels like, you know, in the case where, not all of your cases, but in many, it feels as though Cancer shut the door on you. Cancer shut you out. Cancer blocked you or ghosted you or whatever it is. And in many of your cases, as this feels like friends or family, it feels as though this is something that happens occasionally with Cancer. I didn't mention it in the first half, but they're pushing it through now that this has been maybe a few months. In many of your cases, a few months, like 3 to 4, 3 to 5 type of months. Time. Thank you. 3 to 5, maybe, that you haven't spoken with Cancer, or that you guys have been on the outs. Could be shorter, could be longer, you know, but they're just like pushing that 3 to 5 on me. Yeah. And in that time, oh, and look at the word interference. Going, maybe signaling back to what I was talking about, the Three of Swords. In that time, you may have had a lot to think about in terms of the interference between you, whether it was a third-party situation or not, whether it was you who invited in that energy or was, you know, it doesn't really matter. But there is this, you acknowledge there is a wedge, let's say that, the wedge between you and Cancer. You want to talk about it. Or the wedge that exists between you is kind of on your mind regularly, you know, a few times a day. Oh, what would happen if I, you know, called Cancer? Or what if I stopped by their house, or, you know, sent them an email or whatever it is? Or maybe I could get my, you know, our cousin, you know, maybe this is a family thing. Maybe if I could find someone who's neutral and unbiased to either of us to, you know, just go over and kind of, you know, tell Cancer what I'm thinking, or tell them that I miss them or whatever. There is this acknowledgement of the wedge between us, the interference, no matter what form it has taken, upsets you a bit. Eight of Swords is about feeling stuck, feeling as if you have no options or any type of resolution to your problem, right? And sort of feeling like, you know, rock in a hard place, or, you know, like you're stuck in mud or quicksand and you have no way to get out of it. In terms of Swords, again, about communication. You really, I mean, it could be that. That could be very much on point, where in some cases, the revelation of the third party situation, again, romantic or not, it doesn't really matter. But that wedge, once that was revealed or acknowledged or was about to be revealed, that is the wedge. That is the reason that the communication has broken down. And part of this message, Cancer, or excuse me, viewer, that you would tell Cancer is, I know that's what we need to talk about. If we could just get over that, things would be cool, or we would be able to move forward here. In the cases where you want to talk to Cancer, or in the cases where you want to have progress and some type of reunion or recalibration between your relationship with Cancer, right? You want to move past it, yeah? Not all cases. Some of you are just like, no, thank you. I acknowledge the wedge. The wedge is fine, you know, and you don't necessarily want to. But in many of your cases, I think that you would tell Cancer, listen, the blockage between us, whether it's on my end or your end, or it's mutual, whatever it is, it's stupid. It's preventing us from having something better. Let's say that. That's what that feels like. Yes, preventing us from having something better. Pardon me. Prince of Swords and the Princess of Cups. Air sign energy with the Prince of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Water sign with the Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You know, it's a general. You know what to do with those. Now, it's preventing us from moving forward in some type of way. Prince of Swords. You know, that is the quote-unquote healthier way to see him in his upright position. He's a lot more level-headed in this position. And you might be very determined. You know, if you had the chance to tell Cancer, what you would want out of the situation. I want to move forward and I want to be smart about it. If we were friends, if we were business partners, if we were lovers, if we're family members, it doesn't matter. I want us to move forward and be honest. Thank you, with the swords element here, and an eagle. I don't know like spirit animals and the meaning behind it, but I think traditionally there is this sense of nobility or again honesty and dignity when it comes to the eagle. Whether we're talking American patriotism or any other type of symbolism, I do get the sense of like eagles are not wily characters. They're not suspicious. They're not they're predators, yes, but they're not sneaky. So there is this honesty that you would want to approach the situation with. If we're going to talk, let's talk honestly about this. If we're going to open up these lines of communication, let's be honest of why we weren't communicating in the first place. There is this acknowledgement of, and I think it's because it's combined with the Princess of Cups, because by himself, the Prince of Swords might not always acknowledge or honor his wrongdoings, but because it's paired with the Princess of Cups, I think that there is this ownership on your end, viewer. If you screwed up, if you said or did things that were not so nice, you would acknowledge it, I think. Not in all cases. 1 second, I'll be right back. It's the whole congestion thing. I apologize. Okay, so, yeah, paired together, there's this, if I screwed up, I'll tell you I screwed up. If you screwed up, I want you to be able to own it. Or I'm going to tell, maybe before you kind of never told Cancer the ways in which you saw them, making missteps. Or if you knew they were having a third party situation go on, again, romantic or otherwise, and that was hurtful to your connection, that was hurtful to your relationship, and you kind of let it, slip under the radar, that eagle, again, this upright, noble, straight shooting type of energy is just like, I'm going to call it out. And I'm doing it with compassion, though. I'm not doing it to be mean to you, Cancer. I'm not trying to attack you. But I do want there to be accountability on both of our sides, on both sides of this disconnect. There has to be accountability. Princess of Cups. What are those, like limes or something? I don't know. So she's this female character in the water, no gender, so it doesn't have to be a female, but there is like this offering. And I don't know why this deck is like making the camera go pink. I can't stand it when the cards do this. Anyway, I don't know what she's offering to this dolphin, but there is sort of like this peace offering, Some of you might come to Cancer with a gift. Do you like avocados? I got a whole basket full. But the Princess of Swords, aka Page of Swords, or excuse me, Cups, aka the Page of Cups, it is an offer usually. It is usually a message or an apology, a message or a gift of an apology, something like that. And if you are it's very strange, which again, some of you might struggle with. If Cancer did the bad thing, quote unquote, is the bad guy right here, it's kind of like, why would I apologize to the person who offended me? That I don't know, but this is what it feels like. No matter what. It could just be, I'm sorry that I didn't reach out sooner, or I'm sorry that I didn't take the time to understand, something like that. Whether you were the perpetrator of the fallout or the blocking and ghosting or whatever, or not, there is this element, we might clarify that, of the apology coming from you, viewer, or the offer, if not an apology, an offer to communicate. And again, if the Cancer was rude to you, mistreated you, blocked you, ghosted you, did whatever to you, there's kind of like this, why would I reach out first? I get this sense of, some of you are like, why would I? I don't know. Maybe something in there about the Lakshmi thing. I don't know. I don't know. But we might clarify that. So because I read them together, but now I've separated them a little bit. So, yeah, let's get clarification on the Princess of Cups. What's the Princess of Cups about? Why is that here? From the viewer to Cancer. Why is the Princess of Cups here? What does it mean? Temperance and the Fool. Got it. Okay. So, it is about growth. And, you know, again, I understand for those of you where Cancer is the person that mucked this whole thing up. Cancer is the person who owns the bulk of quote unquote blame here. Okay. There is something about growth. Maybe, again, I used that word earlier a few times. Compassion is necessary here, or, you know, is the name of the game. If not necessary, is the name of the game, because you have Temperance with the Fool card. Temperance, major arcana for Sagittarius, and then the Fool, secondary major arcana for Aquarius. Temperance, card of healing, balance, more a gentler approach or gentler perspective. In some ways, without judgment, discernment. There you go, discernment. Discernment, let's say that. Fool card. New adventures, new pathways in life, a detachment, thank you, a detachment from the old, releasing baggage from the past. That is, see, that is why. What's the value of this person in your life, viewer? For those who are like, I would never apologize, or I have nothing to apologize for, or there's no reason I should reach out. They were the one who treated me badly. They were the one who did. Okay, again, detach from the past, release the baggage. This is just the advice, by the way. Okay, free will. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your mother. I'm not a judge. I can't make you, or, you know, but this is what's come out. In terms of a bigger perspective, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, there is this release from the past. Because what's the value of your connection with Cancer? Are they your brother? Are they your best friend? Are they your partner? In some cases, maybe this is like a strained marriage or a strained relationship, which is, you know, very complex, okay? Not going to be solved in a tarot reading done on YouTube randomly that you're watching, okay? But there is this element here where what's the value of the relationship you share with Cancer? Are they the mother or father of your children? You know, if you're trying to, because you do have a page here, you do have a princess, which can indicate children, right? So there is this idea that, am I going to completely annex this person from my life because of a third-party situation, or because they're in an emotional distressing time and they're not treating me fairly, they're acting like an asshole? Am I going to completely X this person out of my life, even though they are the parent of my or the other parent of my children? Does that, you see what I mean? They're my relative, they're my blood relative, or they are someone that I care about. You know, Princess of Cups. Emotional attachment or some type of emotional affinity, let's say that, if not attachment, affinity. You care about this person. So these two coming out to clarify the Princess of Cups in this potential apology. It's not that you have to, it's just, it's a possibility that you could, or that you might want to. Why would you do that? They did it to me. They hurt me. What's the value of your connection with this person? Just a question. I don't, you know, I have no dog in this fight. So what you do, I don't really care, honestly. But it's coming across as I'm feeling this. You might have the inclination to reach out to say I'm sorry, or, you know, ask for a chance to speak. But another part of you, which again, I did use the word mirroring earlier, but a part of you is also resentful. A part of you is also resistant. A part of you is also hurt and just like not okay with the idea of you trying to make amends first. They have to do it. They're the ones that were acting incorrectly. They were the ones that were not behaving in a nice or good manner, right? Therefore, they have to show that they have learned their lesson, or that they are sorry about the situation. Balance, new perspective. Healing from old wounds or old baggage. releasing releasing the old and getting to a neutral space. Clean slate, often with the Temperance card as well. That's interesting. And again, this idea of mirroring. I don't even remember when I said it or why I said it, but if you are mirroring anything, recall what I was saying about Cancer's energy. One minute they want to do this, the next moment they don't. One minute they want to step forward and apologize or make amends, and the other minute they're just like, no, I'm really hurt or I'm really upset, and I know, you know. So this oscillating thing, you both might be doing it, just to be fair. All right. Any other messages from the viewer to Cancer, and then we're going to wrap up. And again, guys, if this is resonating, leave a comment, drop a like, share and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, okay? Messages from the viewer to Cancer. Okay, thank you. Like, you can do it now. You can shuffle regularly now. From the viewer to Cancer, what are the messages? Okay. Two of Swords. Hanged Man, yep. So you would tell them, you know, as much as I think you still would wish them well, and maybe that's coming from an internal space, this Lakshmi oracle message, maybe internally you're wishing for that, or you're sending them good vibes or something, but maybe on the surface you've got this Hangman and this Two of Swords thing. Maybe you too, again, this mirroring thing, you too are struggling to get to a different place with this. And a different place. Give me more. To see it differently. Thank you. Yes. To see it differently. Hangman. Secondary major arcana for Pisces. You could be a Pisces, 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 Pisces. There could be a Pisces, blah, 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 you know. That it could apply or it couldn't. Hangman. Yeah. Being able to see things differently. Some of you might say it has been a struggle. Because some of you are kind of like, not done, but you've put in a lot of work to get over whatever has happened between you and Cancer. And make peace with, thank you. Make peace with whatever has transpired between you. A lot of you have put in this work and you have gained a new perspective, or you're still working on it. Others of you need to do this work, or you would acknowledge, I am doing this work. Make peace with it. Make peace. Yeah, because what's behind it too is, I pick up things and I talk, and like I wish you guys could understand. It's really like a stream of consciousness. But the word on the top of the Two of Swords is peace, so that's kind of funny. So make peace with it. Hangman, Two of Swords. Yeah, there's like this unknown way to proceed. You know? Two of Swords. You know certain actions or decisions need to be made, but you don't know when and where to make them, or if they're correct, or if the time is right, or if you're overthinking it, or if you haven't thought about it enough. There is like this confusion sometimes with the Two of Swords. As much as you acknowledge that there is this need, or the situation would benefit if certain things were to transpire or certain moves were to be made, you don't exactly know how to make them, or you might worry that they would be made incorrectly. So both sides, because I can't even recall everything that was out here. Like this, I know was out here, but I can't recall much of anything else. Sorry, what came out on Cancer's side, but I know that oscillating thing was happening. And I feel that you're getting it a little bit here too, viewer, this oscillating thing. However, the desire back here is to be honest and address it. You have more propulsion. Let's say that. You have more propulsion or drive or interest in going forward. I think Cancer is held back more. I think Cancer is a little bit more caught up in the storm of something, an internal, again, upheaval, whatever was going on with them. Yours is a little bit to the side, or has been, it's less, let's just say that. It's less than what Cancer is dealing with. But there is still a little bit of this anxiety, or this, I don't know if I should approach, I don't know if I should say anything, I don't know what I would say, but I know I would wish them well, or I know I want this situation to be appeased, or more, there's like no actual ill will here. Even though some of you are resistant to reaching out, or you abhor the idea of apologizing, despite that, you still don't wish any ill will here. It's very strange. So maybe some of you, maybe, thank you, some of you need to make peace with, or get to this new perspective of accepting that maybe you and Cancer are not going to come into contact again. Maybe that's the struggle. Because when you wish someone well, and this is this is a strange thing to do, but I'm going to give you a little insight into Jay's life. There is a person in my life, a relative, a significant relative, who I wish this person well, but we're not in contact. And we probably, at least on my side of things, if we don't speak again, that's okay. And that's a weird place to be in, okay? Because I don't have any ill will towards this person. You know, I hope things go well for them. I hope that they're happy. I hope that they're safe. I hope that their health is good. All of that stuff. And that all equals good, posy vibes, right? That you give to a person. And I said this the last time we spoke. I wish you well, but we're not going to talk again. And you see what I mean? So I can tell you that's a weird place to be in, because I care about that person. If I'm honest, I love that person, right? And this is the first time that I've ever spoken this much about my life. So congratulations, Cancer and cross watchers. But yeah, I care about this person. I love them. But I know we're not meant to be in contact because it's unhealthy. You see what I mean? Okay, that's it. That might be the key. Maybe you, viewer, realize the dynamic between you and Cancer is an unhealthy one. The devil did come out on their side, right? Devil can talk about unhealthy attachments, or just, imbalanced relationships, or imbalance within one person. So if Cancer has things on their plate, or when you guys come together, this energy, or this context, or this vibe comes out between you of unhealthiness, imbalance, toxicity, right? If that plays on either side or both sides or whatever it is, you can't maintain or have a good relationship if that is not addressed. Now, that's essentially what I told this person who I no longer speak to, and they were not vibing with that. So now we can't talk, because that's going to mess up my life, or that's going to mess up my path. You see what I mean? So that might be what's going on here. That might be why some of you are able to easily wish this person well, but also acknowledge, but we can't be in contact. Or maybe you're coming to this realization, making peace with, because again, this is about new perspective. Hangman is about realizing things with new eyes, or putting yourself in a stasis, or putting yourself in a moment of suspension where you have a certain realization or epiphany. And that epiphany might be no action, no communication is actually desirable at this time. Whether that will last for the rest of your life, their life, or whatever it is, I don't know. But that is a possibility. So there we go. My anecdote got me through the message, because I was just like, there's something here of you wish well for a person and you would love to, in some of your cases, communicate. But some of you might know that honesty, again, going back to the Prince of Swords, the honesty, the pure ownership of the wrongs and the missteps and the poor behavior, if you're ready to do that, but Cancer is not, because they had that guy in the reverse, right? What can you do? You can't force someone to have a conversation. You can't force someone to admit their faults. A lot of people struggle with that. I did nothing wrong. Okay, you did, but since you don't want to think of it that way, then we have nothing to talk about in some of your cases, right? So it's a weird thing to have well wishes for a person, but then not be able to actually fully go forward that way. And that could be why Lakshmi is just like, there's no point in holding on to worries and anxieties. You might as well change your perspective on this, or get into a healthier state of mind. Something like that. I have done connecting energies, I think, for most of the other signs. We're going to do that, and then we're going to wrap up. So this is the final piece of the puzzle, my friends. Let's go. Pardon me. What is the connecting energy between Cancer and the viewer? In this time of no communication, what's the connecting energy between the two? Connecting energies between the two. Yes, thank you. Easy peasy. Temperance. Okay. Balance. Healing. Healthy proportions. Okay. Whether that be, I don't think it has to do with diet. So, but if it does, maybe it does. Maybe it has something to do with what's taken into the body. Healthy proportions, But more to the point of what I meant by healthy proportions was, fire and water are the two elements that temperance is often is balancing. Fire and water. And those elements, they hurt each other, or they can remove the other. You add enough fire to water, it evaporates. You add enough water to fire, and it douses it. It takes the flame away, right? So you have to have healthy proportions, otherwise they cancel each other out, yeah? So that could be what's going on here. Healthy proportions need to exist in your relationship if you guys were to come back into contact, right? We can't have too much lightness. We can't have too much darkness. They would cancel each other out, all right? So something like that. All right, guys, that is the reading. If you liked it, like button is down below. Hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read that. Sharing and subscribing are also amazing things that you can do around here to show your girl some support. And again, if you want a personal, that's also down in the description box. No communication readings. I do them kind of sporadically. This is only the second time, so I can't really judge. But they are not a regular part of my schedule, so I don't know when and where I'll do this reading again, but I do have March readings coming up very soon, and I do have mid-March coming up. And if you happen to be a Pisces, I'm actually going to do a mid Pisces season live reading with you guys. I think I'm going to schedule that on March the 7th, which is next Saturday. Yeah, I think that's Saturday. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Saturday. If not, it's a Sunday. I can't remember. But March 7th, I'll go live here on the channel with Pisces. So if you guys have a question, if you are a Pisces and you have a question, you can drop in on that reading and I will answer your question with my various decks, okay? All right, guys. I thank you again so much for watching. Take care.